the skies, you and I were breaking bounds, breaking bounds. Beyond the skies, you and I were breaking bounds on Baobab.
Thank you so much for joining us today for our Zoom panel discussion on mentorship and career growth. Thank you so much for all coming today. We're really excited. We have a wonderful panel of guest speakers today. And we're going to be talking specifically about how you can benefit from mentorship. We're going to be talking about mentorship. If you don't already have a mentor, we're going to talk about how you can find one, how you can get one. If you do already have a mentor, we're going to be talking about ways you can deepen your relationship with your mentor and better understand what that relationship is all about. So welcome everyone. So nice to have you here. So nice to see some new faces and some familiar faces, some new faces and familiar ones. So for today, my name is Elizabeth Macdonald, and I've been working with Baobab for about 3 or 4 years now, primarily as a career coach. And we also have a discussion chat forum on preparing for the job market. So if any of you are in the job market, please join the chat channel. There's lots of really helpful information there about how to write a resume, how to interview, cover letters. And we're going to, in the last segment in December, we're going to be talking about social media, how to use social media to help with your job search. So join us there. And for how our Zoom call is going to go today, for starters, I will introduce for you the panel, and then we'll proceed with some questions and get some find out from them about how they found their mentors and how their mentors are helping them. If you have questions, if you could please put your questions into the chat, that will be great. And at the end of the discussion, we'll answer your questions. And then one last bit of housekeeping, if everyone could keep their mute button on, that'll help us to be able to focus on our panel and on the discussion. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to introduce our panel for you. So we have with us, we have Angella Nantambi. She is an alumni in residence for the Baobab platform. As a coordinator, she is responsible for selecting and onboarding all new alumni in residence. She coordinates all content produced for the Baobab platform through one-on-one coaching and mentorship sessions for each alumni in residence. She produces live events for all fellows. She has a bachelor's degree in business administration from Ashesi University. Angella, thank you so much for joining us today. Our second panelist is Sandra Nabulega. She's an edutech and data enthusiast. She's a Baobab Digital Innovation Scholar pursuing a master's in learning sciences at Arizona State University. She's currently working with the Baobab platform as an instructional design assistant, creating courses to guide African youth's professional and personal development journeys. Sandra has a bachelor's degree in statistics from Markerere University, Uganda. She loves reading and watching fantasy novels and movies. Hero-Godsway is our third panelist. He's a Baobab scholar at ASU and an alumnus of the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program at KNUST, Ghana. He's currently studying user experience and works as a research and data analyst intern with Baobab. Fun fact, he plays soccer so often that when he's watching a game on TV, his legs start kicking out around from under him in reflex. Fun fact. Lastly, our technician is Nadine Kim. She is from Cameroon originally, and she was a MasterCard fellow in Cameroon, and she's getting her master's degree in mechanical engineering. She's in her second year, and she's our technician. So welcome, everyone. All right. If we could start with our first question. If each panelist could share with us where and how did you find your mentor? Who is your mentor and how did you find them? Who would like to begin?
I'll begin.
Okay, thank you,
Ladies first,
Angela.
Hero. Right. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. It's a pleasure to be on this panel talking about such an important subject, mentorship, and the role it plays in our careers as young people. So my story is, first of all, my mentors is a couple here in Uganda. They are Ghanaian and they attended Ashesi 10 years ago. I graduated in 2019, so they were there 10 years before me. And I met them at church. Surprisingly, I didn't even know they were attending the same church as me until one day when I was talking to the pastor, he told me, actually, they're alums from Ashesi University, you should meet them. And from that day on, the relationship continued to grow. Well, I was in third year at the time. And when I went back to school for my final year, I kept the relationship going. And they were very instrumental in my transitions stage when I graduated from university. So that's pretty much how I met them. And it's been a good relationship since then.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Angela. Sandra, would you like to go next and share with us your experience with who your mentor is? How did you find them?
Thank you, Elizabeth. So my mentor is called Mr. Tito Okomo. So a few months before I graduated, I decided to take up a volunteering position with the MasterCard office at Markerere University. I was placed under the M1E department, and Mr. Okomo was the M1E officer and my supervisor. So that's how he became my mentor, and we've been on this journey for almost 6 years.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So these are long-term relationships. These are long-term relationships. Thank you so much. Hero, could you share with us?
So I've had like 2 mentors, and the first he's called Daniel Kwanzaa, and that started from my undergraduate study at Kwame Nkrumah University. I think my transition from high school to the university was not very easy. And I felt like a lot of things were not going good for me. So I had to talk to someone. So I went to Daniel, who is also someone working in the MasterCard office at Kwame Nkrumah University. And I spoke to him that, hey, I think my grades are not reflecting what I think I am. My confidence levels were higher than the grades I was getting. And I started having questions about myself. So I had to speak to Daniel at the very beginning of my university. And all through the rest of the years in my university, I kept in touch with him, and our relationship grew from just a mentor and a mentee to friends and like a brother to me. Obviously, that's how it's been. And in my final year of undergraduate study, I also spoke to another professor about my future plans. And he also guided me about what to do, how to work with him. So I became his teaching assistant. And so he became more of my career coach, while Daniel was more like my life coach. And I'm still in touch with both of them, basically.
Very nice. Thank you so much. You know, we can hear a common thread in all of our panelists that it sounds like when they were in periods of transition from high school to university, from university to graduate school, from university to working full-time, that it sounds like that can be a time when the mentorship relationship becomes really important and really helpful and really instrumental at helping you get through some challenging times. If I could ask each of you, if you could share with us a specific example of a time when your mentor helped you, what happened? And we'll start with Angela.
Right. I forgot to mention my mentors is David Dakwa and Christina Dakwa, they're a couple. So a time when they really helped me was in my last semester at Ashesi, as I was preparing to come back to Uganda and start getting into the job world. I was confused. I didn't know where to start from. And that ranges from what do I say when it comes to salary negotiation in an interview? How do I present myself for an interview? How do I sell myself as a recent graduate with zero experience that speaks to the role that I'm applying for? So they were very much instrumental in that season. And when I came back to Uganda, they were my point of contact for every interview I had, for any challenge that I had when communicating with with companies who were ready to offer me jobs. They were very key in that, and they really helped me when it came to salary negotiation. I was clueless because I'm even afraid to talk about money in the first place. So I needed someone to boost up my confidence in that area, and they guided me throughout the process, which was very good.
Thank you so much. That's so interesting. It's it can be so difficult when you're starting to enter the job market of knowing how to talk about yourself and knowing how to advocate for yourself, and having a mentor who can help affirm that, yes, this is what you're supposed to do and this is how it is, can just be so helpful. Thank you so much, Angela. Sandra, yeah. Oh, Sandra or Hero, who would like to go next? Hero, whoever would like to go next.
So for me, I think they actually helped me a lot of ways, but one key way that Daniel helped me when I was an undergraduate student was that I think in the university, almost your scores and everything you do is not just a reflection of how much you study. It's also a reflection of how much confidence you have and your approach to working in the classroom and working alone, sometimes with groups. And since my grades were not going well and I was able to talk to Daniel about it, he encouraged me to take up extracurricular. And some of the things he said is that there's so much more to you than the grades that you have. And that's one of the reasons why you became a scholar. And he spoke to me as if someone who had known me for long. So he encouraged me to try extracurricular. And I tried that, and I took a lot of extracurricular, to the extent that I told him that I was interested in learning guitar, and he also bought himself a guitar. We both started learning a guitar. And he got so good that I can't even catch up anymore. And that was how he helped me to get my confidence back. And the moment I got that, my grades improved significantly. And also at the end of every semester when we meet, he will show me his results from his undergrad, and he also started pursuing his master's as well. So when we meet, I show him my results, he will show me his results. And oftentimes there's always a gap to catch up with. And it made me happy, it made me want to study more. And that was one big way that Daniel actually gave me that confidence to pursue things that I was interested in. But finishing up in my graduate study too, I wanted to have a master's degree, and I wanted something different from what I studied in my undergrad, which was agricultural engineering. So, and if you're a young person who is ambitious, we tend to apply to all graduate schools, particularly in Ghana. So on a normal day in the office as a teaching assistant, if you come to our office, we have like 6-7 tabs open of different universities applying to different schools, most particularly in the Western world, in Europe, in the US, and all my applications were being turned down. And it wasn't going well for me. My confidence was being shattered again, and I was having questions about my future because this is the plan I carried all the way from my high school, that this is what I wanted. So I went to speak to Professor Francis, who was my supervisor again, and he took the day off with me. We had lunch, we talked a lot about the future, and he talked to me about his career progressions, what he studied, how long it took. And he told me that he strongly believes that I am a candidate who could get anything I want, master's, a PhD in any area, because of how hard I work, the kind of papers I turn in for him. And having that moment with a full professor who gave up all his schedule to talk with me about it was interesting. And the next day, what he did was he sent me a list of opportunities that were related to the courses I wanted to pursue in graduate school. And that means that he went extra mile after our conversation to send me a link of opportunities and give me some days off to apply to the schools that I was interested in. And that again was a very big moment for me, because in my second year of graduate applications, I applied to just one school, which is Arizona State, and I am in Arizona State right now.
Thank you so much. Wow, he learned guitar with you. You inspire. So it's interesting. The mentorship relationship, it's the mentor benefits too, and it encourages them to take on challenges and activities that they may not have taken on themselves before. Very, very interesting. Hero, I've seen that. I've seen in the work that I've done with the MasterCard Fellows, I've seen their screens. Sometimes I'll ask them to share screen and I'll see like a dozen tabs of looking for any opportunity to study in a master's program or overseas. And it's sometimes that's not the way to go. It's better to fine tune of like what's going to be the one thing that's really the right fit for us. So thank you so much for sharing that. Very, very, very interesting. We're having some interesting comments in the chat. Just want to say we see this, and they're just affirming what is resonating with them with what our panelists are saying. Thank you so much, Hero. Sandra, if you could share with us next a time when an example of when your mentor helped you, what happened?
So I know so many of us passed through this. I mean, I did a course for 3 years, and at the end of 3 years, I didn't know what I wanted. So I was confused. My course provided me with options, accounting, programming, research, but I didn't know where to go. And at that point, an opportunity of volunteering came, and I entered into M1E data analysis, and I met my mentor who had a background of mathematics. So basically we shared a background, and yeah, he walked me through my interests, and I was able to see, yeah, this is what I want. This is what I love to do. This is what I would do. This is what I will do in the future. Yeah, my mentor helped me in that confused state I was in between what I wanted and, I mean, getting a job to support myself. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Sometimes they can help us understand, what our skills and our potential is and how to focus on this. Excellent. I'm reading a comment from Angela. Sorry, Angela, do you want me to ask this question?
Yeah, we can answer it after the set questions
okay.
you have for us. Yeah.
And then Angela, your video is off, so I forgot about you because your video went off. Do you have another like maybe specific example of a time a mentor helped you, or just the one? Sorry, you shared. Sorry, never mind. Right?
Yeah, I did share. Yeah,
you did. She did share.
Yeah.
Very good. Let's come to our next one. Our next question. In your opinion, so we're having a couple of questions. In your opinion, what are situations where you've already addressed this in somewhat, but we'll ask it again and have you expand on it. In your experience, what are some situations where having a mentor is especially beneficial? And who'd like to start? Angela?
Yeah, I'll take us back to a conversation we had with Elizabeth to start off this event, which was as young people, once we graduate, we think we have everything figured out. I have my degree, I have my grades. What again do I need? I just need to apply and get the job. And that's the mistake that we make as young people, being overly confident around things we have no clue about. And we could potentially get some advice from somebody who's been there before. And to answer the question, I think it's very critical for us young people to have a mentor in the direction of career, because it's a messy road, it's a messy path. And 98% of the time that I've had conversations with people who I consider mentors, they continue to tell me it's a journey that you go on, you never have it figured out. And the earlier you have somebody in your life to guide you on this path, the better and easier it will be for you, and the better decisions you're going to make regarding your career journey.
Thank you so much, Angela. And I will reiterate, it was a conversation we had with Angela that really prompted us to have the idea to have this forum now, because it seems so valuable to understand that, you know, sometimes when you've graduated from college, from university, you think you figured it all out and you haven't. There's a lot more, and having that other perspective can be so helpful. Wonderful. Either Sandra or Hero, would you like to comment?
Just to
Sandra.
add on what Angela says, I think we need a mentor at each stage of the way. I mean, at high school, I needed a mentor. There were questions I had no answers to. At undergraduate, I needed a mentor. There were things I didn't know about. And at master's degree, I'm confused more than ever. So I think we need mentors at each stage of the way. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hero.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Sandra that we need mentors at all parts or all stages of our life. What I do realize is that anytime we don't get mentorship, we get something that's not giving us the value that a mentor will give us. So at high school, I also had a teacher that I talked to. In my university level too, there's a Daniel who I talk to most of the time. I realized that if you don't have a mentor, you get to pick up ideas or concepts from your peers who are not developed, who are also challenged, who are also going through troubles. Also, you get to rely a lot on what people are saying on social media. For an example, if you speak to a mentor right now, you understand that as a young person, you shouldn't have this amount of money or something. But if you open social media a lot, you think that, oh, I need to have a fancy dinner, a fancy lunch to be able to show that I'm making progress. But so having a mentor is important. Having someone who you think you respect, you admire, who is growing is important. Otherwise, you are going to unconsciously pick up the wrong cues from the environment, which may not help you grow.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's true. We're so bombarded by social media and other information. It can be helpful to have someone almost as an anchor to help you know, okay, this is what's important. This is what's not important. If we can move to our next question, what suggestions do you have for if someone's looking for a mentor? And I'm seeing some other questions. So there are two parts to the next questions. The first part is, where can someone find a mentor? And the second part is, what advice do you have for nurturing a mentor relationship? And maybe we should, I don't know if we should put those together, or maybe put those together. Let's put those together. So what suggestions do you have for where you can find a mentor, and how do you nurture that mentor relationship? And after you guys go, I'm going to comment too, because there are some people here that I mentor, and I'd love to share things that they did that helped to nurture and sustain the relationship over many, many years. All right, Angela, would you like to go first?
Sure. So I'll take us back to our introductions when we started the event. Everybody here shared how they met their mentor. And for me, I found them at the church. For Sandra, it was at the workplace. For Hero, it was at the school where he was attending. So in a nutshell, I must say, where you find yourself, it's easy to find a mentor. For example, if you attend networking events, if it's a conference that you go to, if it's a program that is being shared on the Baobab platform, that's another way, another place where you can find a mentor. There's the Global Give Back Circle mentorship program that is now open to everybody. So you're constantly looking out for opportunities. If you're intentional about finding a mentor, you find them. The Baobab platform has one in your community. It's possible there is that one person you look up to that is not far from you. A mentor doesn't have to be a celebrity, doesn't have to be Beyonce. It's usually people that we know and we admire and we want to be like them. And all you have to do is develop that relationship with them. Start by greeting them, introducing yourself, what you're about, what you want to achieve in life, and gradually that relationship will evolve. And this is a conversation we've had here. the relationship will evolve into a mentorship, into a relationship, a friendship. Hero just mentioned they had a guitar lesson with the mentor. So it just evolves into all these elements that form a very holistic relationship. So you can find a mentor anywhere. You just have to be intentional about where you meet them. If it's an opportunity, grab it. And introduce yourself, talk about yourself. How can you cultivate the relationship? It's constant communication. Most of the time, mentors are old people who are busy with their lives. They have so much going on. And if you don't take the first step from your end as a mentee, because you're the one benefiting from the beginning, you have to take the first step, initiate conversations, and not only when you need something, but just a check-in. How are you doing? Hey, I'm just checking in to see how you're doing. How is everything faring on? Just to see that you're present and you don't show up only when there's an issue. So cultivation happens by constantly communicating, telling them about what is happening in your life. If it's a decision you have to make, I'm struggling with this decision. Can you guide me on this? So avail yourself is the way a relationship is gonna grow.
Thank you so much, Angela. So true. There are so many opportunities through Baobab to find really excellent mentors, and lots of opportunities. And if anyone has any questions, reach out to Angela and she'll make sure you're aware of those opportunities. Sandra or Hero, would you like to add anything? Sandra.
Oh, yeah, I would like to say that in school, mentorship is a little bit organized. I mean, we match to our mentors, but when you go out in the real world, anyone can be your mentor. Like, I personally, my mentors have chosen me. I haven't like approached someone and be like, can you be my mentor? No, someone approaches me and be like, Sandra, you need to do this and this and this. And that was because I asked for help. I take in feedback positively. So people are willing to help me because I take in their feedback positively. And I mean, I'm open-minded. I ask for help, and yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
It was, we talked about this in preparing for this Zoom event, how one of the most important things is to ask for help. If you don't ask for help, no one's going to help you. So even that simple thing of asking for help is a really important first step. Hero?
All right. So I would just reiterate what Sandra said. Asking for help is a superpower. It doesn't make you mean. It doesn't make you anything less, especially if you're a man groomed from Africa, where oftentimes.
Wait, hold on. Catherine, you need to mute yourself. Catherine.
I've muted them now. I think we're good now.
Okay. So, as I said earlier, asking for help is a superpower. It's really, really a very big superpower. If you know how to ask for help, you can get by with everything that you need, and it makes you grow. Being here at ASU, particularly when I transition countries, I realized that people are willing to help. And the biggest challenge is your ability to ask for help. And my friend Sandra, who lives nearby, has really demonstrated that. When you change countries, it's like you're starting from scratch, no friends, no family. And it's very difficult, really, really difficult. And the only way I could learn is to see that Sandra opens up to people and say, hey, I have a challenge with that. I have a challenge with that. Can you help me with that? That's when I realized that I failed to learn something really important. That's to ask for help. So it's important to learn how to ask for help, and don't always expect that people are going to help. We are not entitled to that. Just be open and be willing to learn. So as Sandra already mentioned, I would highlight that learn how to ask for help, even in school, before you transition out of school.
Thank you so much, Hero. If I could share one suggestion for
Oops. I think Um,
Sorry, I'm back.
Elizabeth, are you there?
I'm having some technical problems here. I don't know why.
We can
But
hear you though.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, one other suggestion I have
Thank you.
from the experience of a mentor, take advantage of times of the year when you can, like, don't always reach out when you need something from them. Take advantage of times of the year like the Christmas holidays, the New Year's. If someone is whatever the major holidays are of a certain religion, reaching out and saying, hey, I'll get emails from students that I've worked with in the past at the New Year saying, we wish you a happy New Year. We just want to reach out and say hi. And those mean so much. And they keep the connection open so that if they email me 6 months later and they say, hey, by the way, I'm working on this project. Can you help me with it? I will. I remember them. They're fresh. They're top of mind. I remember them. So those are some things that you can do of to help sustain relationships with people that you maybe don't see frequently or people who may be far away. Great. I think those were some of our major questions that we wanted to ask and to talk about with our panel. At this point, for the panelists, is there anything else that any of the panelists would like to add?
Yes, I would like to add something. Speaking of where can I find a mentor, like I mentioned earlier in my presentation, Baobab is currently running a global give back mentorship program that is open to everybody. So if you're here and you're struggling to find a mentor, it's a perfect opportunity for you. I'll share the link right here in the chat function and you can go straight to it. Sending your application. The application deadline is November 30th and it's not going to be extended because it's already been extended. So take note, the deadline is November 30th and you're going to be paired with a mentor based off your interest, based on what you really want to get out of this mentorship. And it's a 1-year opportunity to be paired with somebody who is going to be your guide. I can see in the comment section, many people are having issues with applications to different schools, visas. All these are things you can have. These are conversations you can have with a mentor and they can really guide you through the entire process. So take advantage of it. And yeah, let's see how that goes for you. I'm going to share the link right here and be sure to check it out.
Angela, is there a place on the Baobab platform where people can share their experiences with mentorship or ask questions about, like, is there like we have the preparation for the job market, is there another discussion forum where people can talk about mentorship?
Not that I know of, like a chat group specifically dedicated to mentorship. I don't know, that one I have to find out, but I know the platform is very much open and people are continuously sharing their experiences in whatever things they are doing, and mentorship is one of those. Highly encourage anyone, if you've had a great experience after this call, after this event, and you think it's very much instrumental for all of us to read and know, just go ahead and apply, and share it on the platform. And we'll be sure to comment and encourage more people to, come and read it, because it's very fruitful, at least for us who have had that experience.
Yeah, one of the ways that Baobab is also encouraging mentorship is that the Ask Me Anything sessions, where they bring on people and guests to tell you about their experiences, so where people ask questions. That's one of the ways that you can also access mentorship on the platform. So when AMAs are open, Ask Me Anythings are open on topics that you are interested in, like entrepreneurship, like graduate school, like scholarships, like life transitions. You should seize the advantage and, of course, send in your questions, and we have those experts tell you about their experience. So I think it's one of the ways that the platform is really doing good, bringing on different people from different areas to come and share their experiences and answer questions. I think it's a good thing as well.
Thank you so much. Sandra, would you like to add anything?
I would love to say that life is hard, guys. Life is hard to everyone, but what you're passing through, someone else has passed through. So just share your experience with someone, and they will share their experience too, and the problem will be solved.
Wise words. Wise words.
I have a question for Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Because we are speaking from the mentee point of view, but I would like to hear from you as a mentor. How do you cultivate that relationship with your mentees? Because it's usually mentees do the work. How can you sit on yourself, just go ahead and ask your mentor? But from your end, how do you cultivate that relationship with your mentee? And what's a success story maybe of a mentee you've worked with for a period and you've seen results play out in their life?
What an interesting question. So, like I advise for you, for taking advantage of New Year's and holidays and Christmas and Eid and whatever big events there are, I at those times I'll often email or WhatsApp or somehow message my quote unquote former mentees to check in. Say, hey, how are you doing? Happy New Year. Just, it's been a while. And I love doing that because I love staying in touch. And I will say, I don't know if other professors feel this way, but often I think professors have a really strong value of once a student, always a student. So if you're ever my student and you reach back out to me, I have a moral obligation. Whether I, usually I want to, but I have a moral obligation to respond and do whatever I can to help. So, and so there's that, the boy, I mean, really, boy, that's really the only thing I would say. And just when people reach out to me, I do my best to understand their needs and help them with their needs. I think the other advice I would have for people in terms of culturing that mentorship relationship, and Angela's comment about a success story. So I had a Baobab student. He was involved with one of the programs that I was working on, the graduate mentorship, and he was so persistent. He was the most persistent person I've ever worked with, and he told me a year and a half before he achieved his goal, he said, I'm going to get my PhD in the US and I'm going to get a full scholarship. And he said, and I need your help. I said, oh, okay. And everything. So we went through the steps, and everything I asked him to do, he did. Every single thing I asked him to do. And he had strong initiative, and he often even went beyond what I asked him to do. And he got it. He's now at the University of North Carolina getting a PhD in agriculture, and he's doing very, very, very well, very exciting, full scholarship. So I think in terms of like cultivating a mentorship, if the mentor asks you to do something, like do everything you can to show you're committed, that you're willing to do the hard work that they're asking of you. Does that help, Angela?
Definitely does.
Yeah.
And
I was also going to ask another question as follow-up to that. I think one of the things that make us hesitant is that I pick up my phone and I want to text my mentor, and it's like, is this text too formal? Is it too informal? Is this the right message to send? And then you begin to think that there are other mentees, probably like me, who has probably sent a better message, a better wording. Sometimes we're just not sure. We genuinely want to connect, but you don't know the avenue to be able to do that, to have that conversation. What would you say to a mentee who is in that position?
Don't hesitate. If you don't ask, you don't know. And if the mentor is busy, they'll say, you know what, I'm really busy. Let me get back to you next week. Let me get back to you. I'm really sorry. I'll get back to you in 2 weeks. You gave me an idea for a segment to add on the preparing to enter the job market. There's a way to to ask for help or to send a message, or when you have that contact, especially with Americans, if at the end of the message you put a lot of what we call goodwill, thank you so much. I really, 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 really appreciate this. I know you're busy, but I'm just wondering, could you, right? If you put that goodwill at the end and a lot of it, you can ask for anything. Right? Well, we have to say yes. If you add that goodwill of how much you appreciate it, how much that helps a lot. But I'm gonna on the preparation for the job market, I'll share with you some tips on how to write those messages. And it was one of the things, honestly, that really, 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 really helped the Andrew, who's now at the University of North Carolina. His first messages to potential mentors in universities in the States, they were culturally inappropriate. You know, he asked them how their health was, and they asked them, and we don't do that in American culture. We don't start out asking, hey, I hope you're healthy. I hope your family's healthy. And so we had to work on a different format for how to craft those messages, and that helped a lot. So it's the same thing. If you don't ask, you know, you're not going to get. So you got to ask. And any other
Right.
questions? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a question from one of the attendees, which is it prudent to have multiple mentors at the same time? If yes, how do you concentrate to get the best out of them all? And what do you do in a situation where your mentor goes incommunicado, deliberate? I don't know. Maybe they're not communicating
Right.
deliberately. How do you go about that? I'll throw it back to all of us.
I don't like the idea of having multiple mentors at the same time, but I don't think there's any rule against it either. But the idea is that every person you're speaking to has experienced something you want to have, or has gone through a path that you want to have. And as human beings, we are all unique in our ways. We use different methods together. So it's a matter of just believing that this person has the right way, or I like the way he did it and I want to do it that same way, you know. I don't know how to share that example, but if you're a tech person, you think of Thomas Edison and his contribution to electricity, you think of Nikola Tesla, his contribution to electricity. Both of them at the end of the day gave us electricity, right? But they use different ways. You cannot want to have both of them. You wouldn't show the commitment that you show one person to the other person, right? And it's good that all of your energy and all of your attention works with one person than having two people. And I think at the end of the day, I have never had mentors that strictly say, you have to do this. They ask me, what is your plan? Then I present my plan. They're like, okay, why this, why that? Then when they question, then I find loopholes in my perspective, right? So if at the end of the day, the mentor is not outright telling me what to do, or is just giving me that opportunity to see another perspective of it, then why have lots of mentors? All the time you spend talking to both of them is the time that you could spend putting into action what one of them is giving you. And that's why you also have to grow together. If you have multiple mentors at the same stage, it's probably you're just receiving. But if you also want to invest into the growth of the other people, the other person, although they are older people, you have to be present. You have to listen to them. And I bet listening to people are the hardest thing of all. Although we want to be listened to. So I ideally would encourage you to have just a single mentor, as long as it's regarding one sphere of your life. If it's just about professional growth, have that one mentor for professional growth. If it's about relationships and, you know, all of other things, it's okay to have a different person who you think he's gone through the stages of life more appropriately and you want to learn about relationships from them. So that's what I think.
If I can jump in, Hero, absolutely. Like, I help people a lot with resumes, and nothing drives me crazier than helping someone with a resume, and then they go ask someone else, and then they come back to me and they say, oh, but this person said I should do it this way. That is the quickest way to end your mentor relationship with me. I will have nothing more to do with you. Good.
Wonderful, great. Sandra, do you have anything to share?
I just wanted to say that there is this aspect of my mentor telling me to consult someone else. Like my mentor lacks that aspect I'm looking for, so he sends me to someone else. So yeah, that multiple mentors work if you're looking for a certain aspect your mentor doesn't have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And I'll do that too. If someone asks me for something and I don't know, I'll say, you got to find someone who has that expertise. I don't have that expertise.
Yeah. But I think also it requires that you communicate to the mentor. You don't just go haywire and reach out to someone else, but you communicate to your mentor first, and then they can recommend someone who is better positioned to help you. But I wanted to share my experience. So I had a mentor in high school, and this person was very instrumental guiding me throughout my entire education journey, career, and she was well-rounded, relationships, everything to do with life, very instrumental. But when I met the current mentors that I have, my relationship with this person kind of dwindled because I realized that these people that I am interacting with now are more present and they are ready to help me in the best way possible that I was looking for. And my previous mentor, while very much helpful in the past, I thought moving on in my current direction where I'm headed to, they are not going to help me as much as I want them to. So I have the relationship going. I check in, visit, and every now and then. But then this one is the one I'm giving more time now that I know they're more present and they have what I need in taking me to the next step.
Hi, Angela. I really liked that your answer that I had to jump on it right away. It's so important. I think that's a very good insight that you've shared, and I hope people take that seriously. In real life, we know that when you were in high school, your best friend in high school probably was not your best friend in the same university. You guys were probably thinking we would go to the same university, study the same course, and become, work in the same company when you were young. But eventually life happens, you have to split around. That happens with mentorship too. Eventually the relationship grows apart, but the truth is that that person genuinely wanted to help and they did their best at the time to help you, like when you were in high school for me. And then when you're at the university, you also realize that these people also did their best. I could say about my mentor, Daniel. He was always there. If I go to his office unannounced, I leave a sticky note on his table. He gets back to me either by call or text message. But at the moment, I haven't spoken with him for a while now. But he knows that I am thinking of him, and I know that if I reach out to him any day, we are going to have a very good conversation. There are more people in my life right now who are more helping at graduate school, like professors here at the US, who are more like a mentor to me now than Daniel was back then. But it doesn't mean that I have to be glued to it. Once you're growing, your needs change. And so those mentorship relationships change. Eventually, time will come where you'll be the one giving them advice. They are old, you're going to teach them what tech tools to use, why they have to do their Facebook certain way for privacy reasons. The relationship grows. So it's very important to be flexible, to be open, and realize that once you are growing, you need new people along the line, new coaches along the line, and you're going to give back to them as well along the way. But always, always be thankful for their immense contribution, because without them, you wouldn't even have the present mentors that you have. So that's what I think. Thank you for sharing that, Angela.
So true. I think Andrew is here. Andrew is the one who introduced me to Zoom. So I had mentored Andrew like years ago, and 2 years ago, I'm like, oh my God, I need to figure out this new technology. And Andrew was the one who shared it with me. So true, Hero. Any other questions or comments, Angela?
Yeah, I'm seeing the rest of the questions were around how to find a mentor and how to improve mentor-mentee relationship. But maybe if any person in the audience has a question they want to ask, you get the chance to unmute yourself and talk to all of us. Who is the brave person out of the 52 people on this call? This could be a chance of gaining mentorship from Elizabeth, so don't shy away.
I think Godfrey
Okay.
has his hand up.
Yes, Godfrey, let's hear from you.
Yeah, hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, we
Yes,
can
we
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much. My question is to the graduates. Like, I want to know something. Like, what is the best or what is the last thing you wish you had done before you completed your SHS? I mean, sorry, your tertiary education. What's the best thing you wish you had done, or what's that thing that you are trying to give to us who are still schooling that we should have done, or we should make sure we do that before we also complete, because like you are regretting you haven't done that thing. And what is the thing that you have done that you wish you had not done in your tertiary education? Thank you very much.
Wow.
That's top.
Good question,
Um,
Godfrey. Carol, do you want
do
to
I
take
kick
a
it
shot
off?
at it?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, if you're in Ghana, this applies to those who are in Ghana, right? You have 1 more year of the thing we call national service. So that national service is basically a free 1 year ticket to explore and experiment a lot. And for me, I did a lot of that experiment that I'm so happy. I tried a lot of things. I was a youth think tank researcher, and I moved around, and I was a teaching assistant, and I had a professor who understood me from, we talked about this even before I became his teaching assistant. So he gave me the room to operate, to explore and to discover myself. So if you're in Ghana, you have that 1 year national service, use that period to explore a lot of different things and discover for yourself. It's important. If there's anything that I didn't do that I wish I did, was to connect more. I think my undergraduate was more about getting a lot of good grades. After class, I'm in my room, take a shower, sleep, wake up, go to the study room. And I was like, I wasted my life. I wish I connected more with people to see where people are, what people are doing, connected more with professors and peers who were doing different projects. I wish I had that ability to connect with people that much. I feel that right now my friendship circles are very small. And even though all those people in my friendship circle are achieving big things, the things that we all thought we wanted to do, I wish if we expanded a little more, we could have had impact on a lot more people, and a lot more people could have also impacted us as friends, as peer mentors for each other. So connect as much as you can, right? Not just to the people who can help you, but the people you can help, the people you can shape as well. It's very important. I had this one last friend in final year. His grades were not as maybe not as good as mine, but in final year, he was more serious about studying than I was. When it's time for class, he would wake me up. He's ready to go, 30 minutes to class, he's ready to go, and I'm still on the bed. And I didn't find the strength to carry on as someone who was always studying, someone who was always hiding. He gave me that strength, and he's the reason why I probably did better than I would have gotten in my final year. So connect with a lot more people, even people who you think, I'm just going to help this guy. Maybe my grades are better, but I want to connect with him, right? In the long term, they help you a lot as well. So connect with more people. It's important. That's for everybody, whether you're in Ghana or you're in any country.
Thank you, Hero. Sandra?
So yeah, I agree with Hero, connect more, but I wanted to share my story. You guys who are looking for a graduate program, you should get some experience. So in 2018, as I shared, I have a background in statistics. And in 2018, I really wanted to be a data scientist. I wanted to be a data scientist. Like, I saw myself as a data scientist. I saw myself as doing a master's in data science. That's what I saw. That's the only thing I saw. But after getting employment and working for the last 2 years, my interests have really changed. I mean, I'm doing a master's in learning science, so different from data science. So get some experience. You will discover yourself more. Yeah.
Awful. What can I say? Looks like you've touched on everything I wanted to talk about. Mine would be I was a study abroad student in a foreign land, and history has it we tend to shy away for the first 2 years, and that's what exactly happened. Immersion was so difficult for me. I did not talk to as many people as I wanted to. I'm very bubbly, but being a new environment, it was a challenge. Adapting to that environment was a challenge. But I realized in my last year, probably that's when I adapted well enough to connect with more people. And by then it was too late. I only had about 8 months left. And I regretted why I had not actually interacted more with people from different places, because when you step out of school, you realize life is more than just a job. Life is more than just the grades that you were busy looking for in college. You need people to have a good laugh with, to talk to. And these are relationships you're going to have to cultivate while in college. If you don't do it, chances are high you're going to go back to your high school friends, and most likely you do not connect on the same level. So cultivate those relationships while in school, your peers, your professors, find those people, and it could potentially turn out into a mentorship relationship with some of these professors or people that you meet in school. So that would be my number one. We have a question from, I think that would be the last one before we close off. Marguerite, Marie, please unmute yourself and share.
Thank you. Firstly, I would like to appreciate all the panelists we had. This session was very interesting, educative. But my question is like, I want to have the advice from you. From what I heard, you all three had mentors, and you had the time to interact. I mean, you were in the same country, you had time you did get a chance to meet with your mentors. So I'd like to have advice from you how a mentor should behave when their mentor are abroad. Thank you.
I think that question is for you, Elizabeth. How to get and maintain a relationship with a mentor who is not in the same country as yourself.
You know, with the technology we have today, it's a non-issue. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We have WhatsApp, we have Zoom, we have email. It's not, you don't have to be there physically. I'm so surprised. Even even one of my first times of, I don't know if Happy is still here, but Happy was one of my first mentees with Baobab. And we worked on her resume together with, I think, Facebook chat. And it was just amazing how even with this seemingly impersonal means of communication, how deeply we were able to connect and understand each other and communicate with each other. So I think it's absolutely not an issue. The only thing is you have to make sure your time zones are clear, or else you may miss each other. But I don't think it's an issue.
I agree. Technology has made it so easy for us to connect, for us to keep in touch, and there's no excuse.
Yeah. You know, sometimes at the end of the day, I'll talk with a friend or my husband and I'll say, God, today I went to Ghana and Kenya and Uganda and Benin. I feel like I've actually been in the countries as I'm talking with people in those countries.
Thank you so much. I think Happy is a testimony to what you're saying. It was one of my best times and still is. So thanks to you, Elizabeth. Yes, I'll hand it over to you, Elizabeth, to close us off. It's been a great interaction.
Thank you all so much. This has been wonderful. This was so interesting, and I'm so glad that we got to get so much in depth with understanding all these different aspects of the mentor relationship, about how you get one, how you nurture that relationship, how they help. Really wonderful, wonderful insights. And Angela, thank you so much for helping with organizing this and with the facilitation. Thank you very much, Nadine, for your work on the tech end. Much appreciated. Big thank you for Hero and Sandra. Your insights and experiences are just invaluable. And I could tell through the chat that people could really relate to things that you guys shared, and Angela too. I hope that from this session that you're able to, either if you don't have a mentor, that you're able to get one, and if you have one, that you're able to nurture that relationship and share with us your experiences with mentorship on Baobab through the different channels that are available. I think that would be wonderful to hear if this session that we had really helped you or had an impact on you in being able to find and work with a mentor.
Thanks, everyone. It's been great
All right.
having all of you here.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Hi.
And Batuso, I saw your comment. It's heartwarming to read that I was one of those instrumental people in your undergraduate experience. Thank you for coming.
You and I were breaking bounds on bounds.